One essential part of InDesign to keep in mind is preferences. On Mac, if we come up to InDesign, click this, we can scroll down and click Preferences. On PC, you will have to go to Edit, scroll down and click Preferences. And here we can see there is a long list of options we can consider. At this early stage in the course, it will be good to take a look at this and the things we can change, as there are lots of options. Now, I won't go into every option as this will be a long video. However, there are some you will want to keep in mind initially. So let's jump into InDesign and take a look. So to begin, I'll click on General to pull up the menu with the Preferences menu open. An important option to look at when starting is Interface and Interface Scaling. You may remember we jumped into this one in a previous video. From here, you can change options for the color of your interface and tweak panel options. But there are also some additional options below you will want to consider. For panels here, you can tweak how your documents open. For example, you can toggle whether your documents open as tabs, and you can change the tab size from normal to large. Other important preferences are units and increments, grids, and guides and pasteboard. Into units and increments, you can change the units of the ruler, stroke, and keyboard increments. Now, this is useful if you're designing for print, as you will want to change this to millimeters, centimeters, or inches, depending on your preference. And then if you're designing for digital, you may want to set this to pixels. Below this, you also have options for stroke units, and a useful one for keyboard increments, where you can change the values of how far an object will move upon pressing the arrow keys, and default increments for leading and kerning when applying. In grids, you can change the color and options of your baseline grid and the color and options of the document grid. This can help you set the units to your desired setting and also control how you see your baseline and document grid. Also really important is this little button here, Grids in Back. It's good to have this one checked if you don't want to see, for example, the grid on top of your images. With it set to off, you will see your baseline grid on top of your images. Depending on your workflow, you may or may not want this on. For now, I'll set this to be in the back. In guides and pasteboard, you can change the color of your guides to your liking in the color section. Again, we have an option to set a guide in the back. Below, we can toggle some smart guide options and edit the pasteboard options. Here you can change the size of your pasteboard around your artwork. For example, here you can change the vertical margin in your pasteboard. If I set this to 50 mil, we can see the space above and below the pages increase. If I set this to 10, this will make the space above and below the work area much smaller, which can make scrolling through your document easier. Other important settings are dictionary, spelling, and autocorrect. From dictionary, you can change the language to your preference. In spelling, you can enable dynamic spelling, where InDesign will underline misspelled words. And in autocorrect, you can enable autocorrect and change your language of choice, and even add words to the list below. This will help you when typing into InDesign to keep an eye out for any typos. Other important settings are display performance and GPU performance. From here, you can change the default view when documents are open by setting this to typical or high quality. Keep in mind, setting the option to high quality can slow down your performance, especially if you have lots of images in your document. If your documents are only a few pages, you should be fine. But I've had documents up to 300 pages, and it can be very slow for me. So I like to keep this set to typical. Setting this to typical, you will still be able to see your images, and this will enable your system to run smoother. Below this, you can even adjust the settings for each view option. And in GPU performance, you can toggle on GPU performance and toggle on and off the animated zoom. If you have this option enabled, this allows you to click and drag in and out smoothly with the zoom tool. Tweaking these options can help improve the performance of InDesign on your computer to help it run smoother. Lastly, another important option I like to consider is file handling. For number of recent items to display, I'll push this up to 30. If I come up to File, Open Recent, this will expand the list to remember previous documents. Also on the home screen, the list is present here with thumbnails. Now, I use a lot of documents in InDesign, so I like to max this out to make it easier to open recent documents. Below, we have options for links. This is crucial to help find missing links before opening a document. And below, we can click to auto-activate Adobe fonts. So that's a brief overview of preferences and some of the options to keep in mind initially. In the previous video, we covered document tabs and I mentioned workspaces. In InDesign, there is a good level of flexibility you can achieve to create your own unique and tailored setup. So in the next video, we'll be taking a closer look at the work panels on the right, where I will be showing you how you can customize your panel layout to get a more comfortable and tailored workspace. So I'll see you in the next video.